Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Joy from She Speaks Too. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. Today is a historic day for Liberia and LPRC. Before we get into what happened today, let me tell you a little bit about LPRC. For those of you who don't know, LPRC is the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, and it's a public entity wholly owned by the government of Liberia with a mandate to procure and supply quality petroleum and petroleum products to the Liberian market. Under the leadership of Amos Twe, Managing Director, LPRC signed a sales purchase agreement with Stratcon Energy and Trading Limited. This deal allows Stratcon to join petroleum importers in Liberia, essentially letting LPRC be their own importers of petroleum products. The ceremony was attended by LPRC senior management, employees, and Stratcon representatives, and also board members of LPRC. Without further ado, let's get into the program.
As you all know, LPRC is responsible for the downstream sector in the petroleum business, and over the years we have given our responsibility to importers, distributors, and the rest of it. So, based upon his agenda by His Excellency the President, we've decided to take a new trend and reclaim our responsibility. So today, members of the Hope Estate, we've called you here today to cover this program, this all-important program that has to do with a signing of agreement between a company and LPRC, the company name of which you will soon hear by the time the appropriate time comes. So again, I want to welcome one and all.
LPRC, the Managing Director, and members of the senior management team of LPRC, our distinguished friends from Ghana, Stratcon, members of the Fourth Estate. It is indeed a pleasure to have you here this afternoon. For the sole purpose of participating in the ceremony, in the signing of a partnership agreement between our company and the Stratcon.
Thank you for having us. I'm Harry Campbell, Executive Director of Stratcon Energy and Trading. We are a Ghanaian-based bulk oil distribution company. We have offices in Dubai for the past 4 years, and we are one of the biggest importers of fuel into Ghana and West Africa. We are happy to be here. We've been engaging LPRC for some months now, and we are happy that this engagement is finally taking fruition. We are in a position to open up the world of energy stocks to LPRC, and we hope this partnership will take a fruitful beginning, and it will create other opportunities that will strengthen the Liberian petroleum sector. I was discussing with MD that it's always important for countries that are coastal countries to always build up infrastructure in the petroleum sector. What it does for you is that now you become the closest source of petroleum products for all your landlocked neighbors. And you know, there's a saying that if you build, they will come. So we hope to partner up with LPRC to make sure that that happens, and in tandem, you know, Ghana and Liberia will all become a petroleum hub for ECOWAS and be able to feed our neighbors up north and take care of our domestic markets. Thank you.
Members of the board of directors, LPRC, my two colleagues, deputy managing directors, distinguished managers, our dear friends from Stratcon, members of the media, fellow Liberians. Today is truly a remarkable day in the history of LPRC, what I refer to as a milestone achievement since the founding of LPRC. As part of our statutory responsibilities to import, distribute, store, and sell petroleum products. This is pretty much, after many years, the first time that LPRC is going to be embarking on a momentous journey. This is historic. The role of importing petroleum product has been, like one of the speakers indicated, franchise to private companies for many years, or for several decades. As part of the new government's vision to ensure the affordability and availability of petroleum products on the Liberian market, LPRC management, with the approval of the board, deemed it necessary to begin the importation of petroleum products on the Liberian market. We believe this is necessary to ensure energy security for our country, and at the same time to ensure market stabilization and balance in the market on the overall. As part of our responsibilities, we have been talking with a couple of players in the sub-region, potential suppliers, over the months since we came here. And as a result of our discussions, the management of LPRC, with the approval of the board, have seen it necessary to forge strong partnership with Stratcon Ghana for the supply of petroleum products on the Liberian market. It's also important to emphasize that when we talk about importation of petroleum product, it's only LPRC's only desire to import the product, but we are not going into the retail market. The product will be imported for energy security and to ensure that we increase our strategic reserve. When LPRC imports the product, we will have them in our tanks, and they will be provided to importers and distributors and those who want it. So in essence, we are not going into the retail market. It's very important to emphasize this point, even though this is part of our statutory responsibilities. But since over the years we have been franchising this role to private players, we also see that it is our responsibility to make sure that those private players remain afloat in the petroleum market. That they will continue to maintain their customer base, but our only desire is to make sure that we do not, especially honor the leadership of Joseph Nyoman Boakai, at any point in time experience anything called artificial shortage of petroleum. That is the objective. So we are very pleased today that we are about to sign a supply agreement with Stratcon Ghana Limited.
Thank you.
We want to use this occasion to thank the chairman and members of the board of directors. We held lots of back and forth discussions to make sure that the T's were crossed, the I's were dotted, to the effect that this agreement will be consistent with the desire of the president to ensure affordability and availability of petroleum products on the Liberian market, but to also ensure that LPRC remains within the ambit of its statutory responsibility of importing, storing, supplying, and selling petroleum products on the Liberian market. So we are very pleased today that we are making history, at least that honor the leadership of His Excellency Joseph Nyoman Boakai. This management is now going to begin importing petroleum products. But let me emphasize here that the products we're going to be importing is not something wholly owned by LPRC. It's very important to emphasize that. We have entered into this supply agreement for the purpose of ensuring that we increase our strategic reserve as a country. When the product comes in the country, we give it out to importers and distributors. We realize that there have been lots of challenges with other importers making arrangements with LCs, right? Letter of credit with the banks. They've always been very difficult for them. So we believe this is going to help to serve as a buffer. When a product comes in the country, they don't have to go to banks to make arrangement with LCs or CMA. Just come to LPRC, you maintain your customer base, we will give you the product, you sell it, remit the resources, and we send it back to the company that we are now going to enter the supply agreement with, so that we continue to have products on the Liberian market. So, it's important also that since the media is here, there have been lots of questions over the period, the last one week, right? Yeah. About potential shortage of petroleum product. Let me state categorically that there is no shortage of petroleum product on the Liberian market. We have products in our tanks, and as a matter of fact, while you members of the media were walking in, we just came from inspecting one of the ships that brought in huge consignment of petroleum product, particularly PMS, or the one they call gas. So in essence, LPRC management wished to inform the Liberian people, the public, that we do have sufficient product on the Liberian market. And we also want to urge all the players to continue to follow the stipulated price laid down by both LPRC and the Ministry of Commerce. Those who are found wanting or engaging in action to undermine the stipulated price of the government will be made to face the full force of the law when they are caught. So it's important to emphasize this point, while we're also continuing to congratulate our colleagues, our counterpart from Ghana, for agreeing with this partnership, and we look forward to a very strong partnership that leads to the desired benefit for the people of Liberia. And of course, when the deal is consummated, we're very strongly convinced that it is going to potentially benefit our both peoples, our both countries, and at the end of the day, whatever profit you desire to make will be made once we enter or forge this partnership with LPRC. And you can be very much assured that as a state-owned enterprise, we will do nothing less than following or adhering to the laws of our country. I want to say thank you so very much, and thanks to everyone for
Today marks a great moment for LPRC in that after 30 years, LPRC is now embarking on its role as a major player in the industry. We are about to sign an agreement that will make LPRC to ensure that we have food security in this country. If we have fuel available on the Liberian market, it will cause political stability and economic stability. So because of that, we as a board work with the management to ensure that the deal with Stratcon is realized and come to fruition. And today we have seen it coming to pass. The essence of this move is to make Liberia stable when it comes to fuel supply. It is not intended to block other importers from bringing product into the country. In fact, the board instructed LPRC not to exceed 30% of the supply on the market for the first year. And so we want to thank Stratcon for coming to Liberia to work with us to ensure that we supply this market with quality petroleum products. The deal with Stratcon is not the end of the window or a close to the window. LPRC is open to other potential suppliers. There are other players that have applied, they have expressed interest to do business with us. We are also looking at them. We want to make it clear that we are going to look at them we have looked at others that also submitted their proposal to do business with us, and we realized that their payment terms and other terms that they offer us to do business with us were too stringent. Financially, we were not in a position to agree with those terms. As such, we were fortunate to have Stratcon that came in and said, look, we are going to supply you, bring it into the country, you leave to the tent, and you sell, and then give the product payment back to Stratcon. So we have agreed to have an escrow account that every sale of this product will be placed into that account, and Stratcon will be paid accordingly. As the MD said, this product is not for LPRC. LPRC is entering into this agreement to ensure that we have product on the ground at all times, that the importers that are not financially potent to import into this country can buy and keep their customers, in business. So today, we want to thank all the board members and the management for working together to bring this chapter of LPRC, people should consider us as the bigger gas station. And today, we want to move beyond that. So Stratcon, we want to welcome you again.
Thank you.
And we want to assure you that this relationship will go far, and you can rest assured that you are in the right hands, you are in the right environment, and every product you bring into this country will be properly accounted for. Thank you very much.
At this point, the key players, the board of directors, the managing director of LPRC, and representatives from Stratcon signed the agreement, and the deal was done. A historic day for LPRC and a historic day for Liberia. There was a little Q&A time for the press, and I got to ask the first set of questions. I do all things positive Liberia, and I do think this is positive, historic. And I want to ask you, as the new MD, and I think the youngest in the history of LPRC, is that correct?
I can't tell.
What are you most hopeful about this deal for the future of LPRC and the future of Liberia?
Well, for the future of our country, we're hopeful that we will continue to have energy security, which is very much important, that the petroleum market in our country will continue to be stable, which is also very key for security purpose, that the economy of our country will experience growth as a result of this. But what's also very important is that LPRC now has taken a giant step to play its statutory role. Since 1989, the rules that were consigned to us as a result of legislation, a number of them have not been perfectly played. So now this era calls for that, and we have a president that supports these kinds of initiatives. So we're very thankful, and we have a board and senior management team, employees, everyone else support these kinds of initiatives. So we're very cautiously optimistic that LPRC is going to leapfrog and reposition itself as the natural leader of the downstream sector of our country's oil industry.
Okay, one more question, one comment. You talked about artificial shortage and how there will be none of that. Yesterday, I drove to 5 different gas stations for gas. Why was that? What is going on?
That problem is being solved. Like I said to you, we have sufficient supply of petroleum products. There may have been some issues, many of which we cannot divulge, but it's important to let you know that everything is okay now. The economy is moving very well, so there's product on the Liberian market. So that's the role of LPRC. We want to make sure that we continue to play that role perfectly, while at the same time working with relevant stakeholders in the sector.
And then my comment, I'm glad that you clarified. I think a lot of people were under the impression that you would be also a retailer. And I'm glad that you clarified in your speech that that was not so.
No, it's not the case. We're not going to the retail market. We're stopping at importation. It's very important.
Yes, that you make that clear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You know, you can't have guests in your country without giving them a gift. So the members of Stratcon were giving traditional Liberian country cloth, and as you can see, they're the ones in the yellow cloth. The men all have hats. These are just some pictures now with the team that made this day historic and successful. This is Joy from She Speaks Too. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe, and I will see you later.